Hey guys, SuperHorrorBro Mike here, and in today's video we explore the weird and mysterious world of Pinstripe to piece together its cryptic story and make sense of everything we see along the way. Recently I uploaded a full 3-part playthrough of the game, so if you're wondering what exactly Pinstripe is and feel you'd like a better understanding of events, then go check that out and come back after. But for everybody else left a little bemused by the game's characters and ending, sit back, relax, and let's get explaining. Before explaining what the story actually means, let's recap events and sum up plot points that aren't so mysterious. Pinstripe opens on a steam train where priest Ted and his young daughter Bo are travelling to an unknown location. Upon exploring the various carriages of the train, the father and daughter run into a shadowy figure, who seems to be highly inebriated and makes some questionable remarks.
I like your dress. Oh, your daddy is such a brute.
This strange character is known as Pinstripe, and before long he kidnaps Bo and drags her through a mirror and into an alternate hell-like dimension. The train crashes and Ted awakens in a strange new land. Here he journeys toward a distant town called Redwash, where Pinstripe holds Ted's daughter Bo hostage in his creepy house known as the Parsonage.
Bo has been spending some time hanging out in my parsonage.
Ted reunites with his faithful dog companion George, who for some reason is now able to talk.
I wonder if I can help sniff out some clues or something.
During Ted's journey, he meets a cast of weird, wacky, and unfortunate characters. Often these characters are dealing with loss or regret, and all of them seem to be hooked on frozen drops and sacks of oil.
Drink some of Pinstripe's sack juice for prep.
He's the only reason I've been living it up down here. He should be here any minute now, right? To give me more sacks.
I'll sell his spare suit for 500 frozen drops.
This oil can be found all around the locations of the game, from the snowy steeps of Edgewood to the bowels of Redwash and the peaks of Hangley Pass. It is an addictive substance that powers this hellish world and controls everyone who resides within it. Ted learns this, as often to gain access to new areas of this world and key items, he must barter using this strange currency. Eventually Ted reaches Pinstripe's parsonage and is told in order to gain access to the sadistic demon's lair, he must crack a code.
But if you can't remember the blessed day you died, I'm afraid Bo will be forever mine.
This code, we are told, is the date of Ted's death. We now realise that this world is an afterlife of sorts, a purgatory for Ted, where he must figure out exactly what happened to him and his daughter Bo. Ted is able to acquire a newspaper clipping which reveals a terrible secret. It reads as follows. Fire, fire! A devastating car wreck at the Redwash Parsonage takes the life of minister and daughter. The minister's body was found at Redwash Parsonage, along with a 3-year-old's charred remains in the passenger seat. Authorities have not yet released information into the cause of the wreck. Ted is indeed in limbo and must atone for his sins. Unfortunately, it's too late. The spirit of his dead daughter Bo has now been claimed by Pinstripe.
Go home, Ted. I have a new daddy now.
Ted inputs his death code, October 12, 1922, and is granted access to the attic where Pinstripe emerges from a smashed mirror and the two face off against one another. After a long battle, Ted destroys his demonic nemesis, who turns into a glass bottle during the aftermath. Upon examining this bottle, Ted realises that Pinstripe has been his inner demon all along. The brand of whiskey he was once addicted to was called Pinstripe. Ted's addiction to alcohol was what caused him to drive under the influence and crash his car into the parsonage. Pinstripe and Ted are one and the same. Redwash is the English town Ted once lived in, and this parsonage was his home with Bo as he worked for the church as a minister. This plot point also explains why mirrors are used so frequently as a portal for Pinstripe. The mirror's glass reflects oneself. In this case, when looking into the mirror, Ted sees his inner demon staring him down. Moreover, the characters in this world are all versions of Ted, their addiction to frozen drops a reflection of his own to the Pinstripe whiskey. Following this troubling revelation, Ted travels through the broken mirror to reunite with Bo. George must stay behind to keep the portal open for his master, so the two bid one another farewell.
Ted, go find Bo.
Ted awakens inside a more idealistic version of the parsonage where he is reunited with Bo, now back in human form.
Daddy! I missed you. Wanna play outside?
As the two play in the sunlit garden outside, they begin collecting butterflies, and upon collecting all of them, happen upon a young lady sitting on a bench reading a magazine. Bo refers to this lady as her mother, and this is where the game ends. This woman is actually referenced subtly through the game and appears to be Ted's late wife. So now we have a basic overview of the story and its meaning, let's dig a little deeper to reveal what some of the more obscure elements of Pinstripe actually represent. So to recap, the story Pinstripe tells is that of a man named Ted who became consumed by his alcoholism, and this led him to drive recklessly and cause a car accident which took the lives of both himself and his daughter Bo.
Now look what you did, Daddy. Mummy would not be happy with you.
Ted then awoke in a purgatory state between heaven and hell, and there had to atone for his sins, battling his inner demon Pinstripe for custody of his daughter. This reconciliation with his tormented soul allowed Ted to reunite with his family in heaven and move on from his dark past. But what happened to his wife? Where does she fit in to this story? Well, Ted's wife is in fact the glue that fits the surrounding events together and helps this story stick. So let's return to the beginning of the game and go step by step back through it to see exactly why this mystery woman is so important. At the beginning of the game, while on the train, we collect a locket which Bo comments belongs to her mother.
Is that Mummy's locket?
This locket reveals the portrait of a once happy family. We can see that Ted seems troubled, however. His wife wears a necklace in the shape of a butterfly, an interesting observation as we remember she appears at the end of the game after we collect up all of these butterflies. Midway through the game, after unlocking this portrait of Ted's family home, a butterfly also appears and will now follow us for the remainder of the story, hinting that the spirit of Ted's late wife is with us during our adventure through the afterlife. And when we look at this picture Bo has drawn of her family, we can see the mother is drawn here as a butterfly too, evidence that something tragic happened to this woman mounts throughout the game. Upon examining Ted's Bible, for example, we find a note from his congregation consoling him on his loss. This is surely a reference to Ted's wife, as both he and his daughter died at the same time. We are at no point told exactly how Ted's wife dies, but we can make some educated guesses when looking into our surroundings and the characters we meet. As mentioned earlier, the characters of this world all represent elements of Ted. In fact, they all have a similar look to him as well. Even the portraits used to save our progress look like alternate, miserable versions of this minister. With that in mind, these people can be viewed as portions of Ted's subconscious. One of the first characters we meet is called Mr. Dickey, a man who mourns the loss of his wife Birdie. Although Dickey's wife isn't dead, rather she is locked away in a cage, and one of the game's many side quests revolves around returning her to her husband.
I lied, but I just wanted help finding my little birdie.
However, the place she is held captive has an interesting name indeed. the Hangley house. A not too subtle hint perhaps that Ted's wife may have hung herself. But why would she do this? Well, again, nothing concrete is given, but we do find a pill bottle labelled as pain relief drug acetanilide. If these pills were used by Ted's wife, then it means she was severely ill, and this may have led to her losing her mind and deciding to commit suicide. Of course, it is also plausible that she passed away naturally from her illness. Either way, she was unwell, and it was her early death that sent Ted into a deep depression. It was from this tormented mental state that we must assume he turned to alcohol as a coping mechanism and eventually became addicted, a choice which led to his own death and that of his daughter. Further evidence of this can be seen in this painting here. We are tasked with spotting a variety of differences between these two pictures, and one of the most evident is the inclusion of Pinstripe here, standing behind Ted's wife as she sits on a bench, representing the dark path he took after her death, a foreshadowing of the tragic events to follow. But at least by the end of the game, a happy resolution is found, as Ted's family reunites in the afterlife, finally at peace. With that said, we have reached the end of today's video and the story of Pinstripe explained. I hope you enjoyed this recap of events, and if you did, remember to leave a like, comment down below, and of course subscribe for more horror related content. Thanks for watching, and I will see you on the next video.